Is it hard to learn a language? Well, what do you define as difficult? So, is it hard to learn a language? Maybe, yes, no. That depends on what you determine as difficult, what your linguistic background is, and how you approach challenges when you're learning something new. Essentially, if you want it to be easy, then you can make it that way. If you want it to be possible to do, you can make it that way. And here's how you can do that. So, usually when people are asking, is it hard? They're asking, can I do it? So in response to that, yes, you absolutely can learn another language. And there might be elements of it that challenge you, that make you think, okay, how am I going to do this? I don't know if I can. I don't know how I'm going to overcome this. Maybe I should quit. That's going to happen. Now, going back again, yes, you absolutely can do it. It is not too hard. It's not too difficult for you, but there are things that you're going to have to overcome. You are going to have to put yourself in positions where your brain maybe hurts a little bit, where you have to maybe seek out help, where you have to look something up, where you have to take a break and then come back to it and find something else to work on in the meantime. That's going to happen. So let's look at the question, is it hard to learn a language? This is a big question, and I want you to think about, when you're asking this question, what do you really want to know? Is it, like I mentioned, can I do this? Because maybe I feel like if something's too difficult, if something is hard to do, then I can't do it. If that's what you're asking yourself, I challenge you to think of something that you thought was really difficult at some point in your life that you overcame. Think about it. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be language related. It doesn't even have to be academics. It can be anything. It can be maybe when you learned how to ride a bike, when you learned how to drive a car, when you got your first job, when you went on your first date, when you did like anything that made you uncomfortable that you overcame and you did, and now you look back at it and you're like talking to people on the phone, whatever it is. Now you look back at it and it's easy. Okay, you have something in your mind? Good. Now, language learning is just like that. It is something that seems really difficult because we don't know anything about it. But the more we learn and take small steps toward our goals to fluency, the more we are able to progress and overcome it, and something that seems difficult, seems unattainable, gradually becomes attainable, becomes something that we can do, and it becomes easy. Because what you're asking is something hard to do. Well, everything that you don't know how to do is hard to do. Everything that you know how to do is easy to do. You know how to do basic math, I hope, adding and subtracting at least, and then you get to more complex math, and you're like moving polynomials around and dividing fractions and things like that, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe that's kind of difficult. Well, it's difficult because you haven't mastered it. Once you learn how to do it, then you're like, oh, it's easy, right? Because I know how to do it. And the same is true for language learning and language speaking and writing and reading and listening. So starting with those basics, learning how to say, how are you? Hello, my name is da da da. Simple things, right? You learn how to do those and you're like, okay, that's easy. But what about when I'm working with these verbs? Like I want to conjugate verbs in French or Spanish or Italian, and this is really difficult because my brain just doesn't seem to grasp the concept. I can't remember it. I'm just not getting it. It's hard. Okay, well, what you need to do is approach it from different angles. What you need to do is practice like you did when you were a kid, when you were learning things and you looked at things from all the different ways, right? When you were learning how to read, you didn't just read books. you went to school, you did activities with cutting and gluing and matching and rhyming and writing in sand and writing on whiteboards and working in groups with tables and different pieces of games, reading signs, reading recipes at home, cooking something, anything, but you saw it from all these different approaches. So if you're trying to conjugate verbs and you're like, oh man, I'm just not remembering, I'm writing, I'm like reading, I'm trying to memorize, it's not working, try something else. And don't not do the exercise that you're doing. Don't stop doing conjugations and doing those things. That is valuable, but also understand that we learn through exposure in a variety of methods. So do that, and then also try reading a children's book in that language. Look for different patterns. Look at, oh, here's this verb, I recognize that. Or, you might just read something or listen to something and not even think about the grammar concepts that you're using. And that's okay too, because the exposure itself will help you when you go back to the conjugations. So, yes, it's difficult if you think about it being difficult. If instead you look at it as, oh, well, let me try something different for a little while. Let me find something that's fun, a fun way for me to do this. Let me not even think about it for a while. Let me just do listening for a little bit, and then I'll come back to writing and grammar, and eventually it starts to not be difficult. It starts to not be difficult because you've learned it, and then you continue, and then you find something else that's difficult, and you say, okay, well, I already overcame one thing, let me overcome this other one, and then it's not difficult anymore, and you continue and continue and continue and continue and continue, and then finally you achieve fluency, and you're like, oh man, this is easy, speaking this language, because you've done all of this work and you've overcome all of these obstacles. And not only have you turned something that you once thought was hard into something that's easy, but now you have the skills and the mindset and the practice to learn even more, to continue in that language or learn another language or learn anything that you maybe thought was difficult, that was out of your reach. Now you have that, oh, I did this and I didn't think that was possible. What else is possible for me? And anything is possible for you to do. You can learn another language, 2 more languages, 5 more languages, 6 more languages. You can do anything as long as you have the focus and the practice, and you look at things in their components, right? Piece by piece by piece, practicing. And you are committed to it, you're consistent about it, and this is the key, this is more important than anything else. You believe that you can do it, and you find a way to do it no matter what. No matter how difficult it seems, no matter how impossible it seems, you look at, how can I make this possible? How can I achieve it? What kind of support do I need to get there? How do I need to approach it? How can I get there? And how do I know that it's possible? Well, I've seen other people learn a language. For example, me. I learned Spanish from 0. Starting at 15, I spoke 0 Spanish. I'm now fluent in Spanish. And I was monolingual before that. Monolingual to bilingual. And it is possible. And no, I'm not special. I'm just a person who is committed to learning Spanish. And so even if you're monolingual, you can learn another language. Even if you're an adult, you can learn another language. I am 29 years old now. I'm learning another language. I'm learning Mandarin. I'm improving my French. I'm learning other languages. You only stop when you decide to stop. It's only too difficult when you decide it's too difficult. If you decide you're going to continue and that you want it to happen, you will find ways to happen. If it doesn't happen, it's not because you're not capable, it's because you decided not to do it. So let that sink in. If you want it to happen, you're going to continue, you're going to practice, you're going to find a way, whether it's a class, whether it's a tutor, whether it's studying in any spare time that you have. Maybe you have 5 minutes in the morning before your kids get up and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna pop out my Duolingo and practice on there, do something. and I'm gonna find time to make this happen. I'm gonna do it while I'm sitting on the toilet, anything, and you find a way to make it happen. And if it doesn't happen, it's you. And if it happens, it's you. It's all because of you. It's your choice, your decision, your dedication, or your excuse. So it is up to you to decide whether it is too difficult or not for you, because you are capable as long as you decide that you are going to do it. And that's it. Alright, I will see you guys back here next Tuesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with another video. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions for me, and make sure to check out that blog post in the description. Bye guys!